it from Ihami. Okay. I just want to work on the Ikkyo entry. This part here. I don't really care how you get there. All right, we have to employ the same thing we always do. We're not going to come up with a different way of generating a falling geometry. Okay? There's a couple things different in this one, however, from when I introduced the concepts to you. They were in nagewaza. Okay, we're now in pinning technique. So there's one subtle difference, and that is that in nagewaza, I don't want the person near me. I want them to fall away from me. But in pinning techniques, I want them under me. Okay? And the only thing that changes therein is how much I displace their center outside of the spiral. Okay, so we know that I'm in my X pattern, right? So let's just two-dimensionally. You're going to establish a spiral with uke center of gravity. Okay, it's going to go in the vertical plane. In a circular fashion, so now it's in the horizontal plane. So I'm either going to bring it up or down at some point, probably both. I'm going to bring it left or right at some point, and I'm also traversing the mat, so it's also moving through the sagittal plane. And once I establish that center, that spiral, I will acknowledge where is the axis of this rotation. Once the spiral is established. And once I have that spiral, once I have this axis of rotation, at the time that I want them to fall, I am going to, let's say this is where their center of gravity is at this point, okay? It's coming around. When I want them to fall, I am going to push this center of gravity outside of this spiral 90 degrees to that axis of rotation. That's your Kokyu projection of the X pattern. That's what I call the X pattern. Okay? So they're going that way, and here's your little X that's happening. Okay? Because it's always on some sort of spiral, I don't like the plus sign. I just like the feeling of the X. Okay? I'm never really making a plus sign there. Okay? All right, so I have to do that in Ikkyo. The difference from this and Kokyu-ho when I introduce this geometry to you is I want them to fall underneath me and not away from me. So all that changes is how far from that axis of rotation through the spiral do I displace the center of gravity. That's the limit. Okay. No further than I can keep them under me. That's the rule. Okay. All right. So at a certain point for the Irimiashi in Ikkyo, it doesn't matter what the variation is. So here we're doing Ihami, Kosadori. It doesn't matter if it's Katatadori, Morotedori, Ryotedori. It doesn't matter. This is how you always enter on Omote. Okay. At some certain point, you brought them into the front inward kazushi. So you're going to get some angle of their body. We're going to go here. Okay? They're going to be on one leg, and then the other leg is up in the air as you started to tilt them. Okay? And I now have an object very much like the Vulcan I was using in Kokyu-ho, where the spine was straight up and down. Okay? The first thing I do is I tilted that spine. This is just a review of that video. And then I'm going to let the feet keep going. Then I'm going to bring the head around and let it go back around. And then the body falls. Very similarly, only it's to the front inward, which means I'm going to bring the head around. I'm going to let the foot go around this way. And then at some point, I know the center's a little off, I'm going to take the center and make it go the other way. Okay? That's what I'm going to do every single time. I am not going to take the body and just move it. This is very common. So the spine would be like this. So I'll show you again. This is very common. You get something like this. Okay, and then all they do, this is the spine, is they just move it over off of this base of support, and then the person falls down. Okay, I say bullshit, they don't. All you have to do is try it on someone who doesn't know your choreography. They don't fall down. They just keep stepping to re-put their base of support underneath the line of gravity. That's all that happens. And then the skilled fighter will use that one time and then adjust to take your leverage away from the arm, and you're not arresting anyone then. That's what's going to happen, okay? But with this component here, the entire elements that construct the base of support, they get sent off in 3 different directions. The dude's going to fall, okay? And that's what we're doing. So I'll show you this variant here, and then we'll review again this variant, which I was demonstrating in the first clip. So again, we're working from Kosadori, okay? And so here the guy is down, and he's in that L shape. This is the incorrect way. And then just let me do it this time. The idea is that I'm going to shove him, and then he'll fall. Okay? So I'm here, and I shove him, and he falls. Okay? 1, and again, let's just do a couple of ways that he can get a base of support back underneath the line of gravity. So this works if his feet stay still. If that foot stays still, then I can push the line of gravity outside the base of support and he will fall. Okay? If he puts his hand down, he's going to get his base of support, and I didn't get the thing I wanted. Okay? Even if he doesn't move this foot, and he just puts his hand down, when I go, he's not gonna fall, okay? But as you saw, what he would do is he moves in stages, boom, boom, and he's out of the technique, and the pin is now not under me, and he can use his leg strength and just stand back up, and I can't get it. There's also the assumption that I can actually even push the line of gravity out such that he would have to adapt, you see? I don't know if I could do it on him, okay? Especially if he gets the other foot down. Then I can't do this thing. I can't do it. It's not gonna happen. Let's see if he has his foot up, which makes no sense in usually how you get here. But I don't think I could do it even there. Oh, barely I could do it, okay? What are we doing instead? Well, once we get him tilt, we bring his head around my koshi. Centrifugal energy takes care of his feet. So we get him tilted. I bring him around here. Get the tilt, bring his body around that way. If we look at the other one, even if I was successful, he's not following the rule of the pin being under me. I have to now catch back up to it. But at this moment, it's not under me. The pin is under me. So you have a break here, which shows that you have a pin. Okay, so the biggest mistake is, where does the X pattern go on his body? That's the biggest mistake. Everyone wants to go like Ikkyo Ura, but it's not Ikkyo Ura. My hip goes in here, where I'm going to spinally displace him. My hip goes in here. But I bring his head around with his arm. So if you watch the other way, watch his hips. Watch his hip. So now, let's pay attention. This can't go in his armpit because it's his center that I'm displacing. It goes somewhere around the hips, around the pushy. Let's get the entry angle. It's around the cushy, then we'll work with how do you actually enter, and then we'll work with what do you do with the arm. But it's important to note that in the versions that we do, we always get his inertia that's going forward. We let it go forward when we attack his body so that his leg keeps going forward. Just like Kokyo. His body's going forward, I want the leg to go forward. It doesn't matter if it is katate, same thing. There's that leg. This is done, okay? All right, let's get to our angle. Okay, so he's up here. Come this way, because we don't film the back. And I'm going to move in here. So he would be on that tilt. We're just going to take his arm out as technique. I go right in front of him. Arm out of the way. I don't go over here. See this space. No space. See? They go right in front. Right here. So watch how I'm doing that. Right in front of him. No space. He goes right on my cushy. No space. No space here. It's wrong. Get rid of that space. Okay? Try it. Okay, so like most of the Nagiwaza, we don't do anything with the feet on the falling geometry. Once we establish the rotation, then the centrifugal energy does what it does with the foot. Okay, so I'm going to take that part off because we don't need it. You don't have to worry about it. here's really what we're dealing with. I am going to cut. That's my Kokyu vector, which is happening with my koshi on their koshi. And then here is the distal end of the head side of the lever of the spine. It's these two forces, okay? And what I'm doing here is every time I have an arc, and that's what we're going to look at now, I need to be in the middle of the arc. Okay? Always in the middle of the arc. And so this arm has to move around, moving their head around at the moment that my koshi is touching their koshi, at the moment, the space-time, that this arm is moving around. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean. So if I don't move, I know that his arm does that. His arm's going to go this way. His arm's going to go this way because it has to go around me. And so I know I need to be in the middle of that motion as it goes around me. And I know that I have to be touching his hip. Okay? And I have to line these things up. And that's what I'm doing here. This hand is on the yang line with the quad. And they move together. So as I come in, it goes around me. What would be incorrect? Closed. Now I can't get in there. Different. You're closing it. Or I enter on a straight line. I'm close, but I'm entering on a straight line. Now I can't get there. So when I enter, yes, I am going to start straight, but as I get in there, it's going to turn. So, yes, it's starting straight, but it starts to turn. So I end up here. You see? Not here. Different. Goes around me. And when it goes around me, pull this under me. I can crack the hell out of that thing. Okay? Right again. I know in modern Aikido they talk constantly like there's a counter to every counter, and I don't agree. What I would say is you're going to have to free your center, then there's a counter. Okay? So it can't just be a matter of you extending the circle. That's just not right. Because the X pattern is there, it's not going to work. Okay? When you don't have the X pattern, you just have some kind of weird two-dimensional circle or a line, you can't extend the line, and then what was Naga's energy becomes Uke's energy. Okay, so for example, if I'm doing that other version and I shove him out, he can use that energy to keep pulling me over him. Okay? We don't want it, that's not right, okay? So in this version, the whole goal is to not have this shoulder, the one I'm trying to control, go up. It's gonna go down, down. There's a lot of pressure there. I don't want the other shoulder to go down and that shoulder to go up until I get it down. No, that's crazy. Boom. Pressure into the shoulder. Boom. Okay, so this is another benefit because I'm trying to pin him. What am I trying to pin? The inside shoulder. So the inside shoulder has to go down, not up. Okay, so let's try and make that point. Go. Okay, now if you have all those concerns, the left hand moves with the left paw. Okay, I'm entering on a circle, and my goal is to get this shoulder down. You don't want to ever push this elbow in that direction. This elbow never goes that way and then comes back to me. Now that's not gonna work. The elbow is going around me because I'm the middle of the circle. Not going this way, you see? And then that way, no, no, no. The elbow's going around me this way. This way. Then notice my arms going this way with my hips. This way. Never push, then try to come up. No. Around. Around. Okay? Try that. Okay, after a certain level of, you don't have the internal skills, you can't really do my variation, okay? The hard part here on this one is when I'm about to move, there's a lot of inertia here because I took him that way, okay? And there's gonna be a point where I'm on one leg. So he's trying, he'll do a force vector that way. Go ahead, push. You see, I can't do that. I have to be able, he's pushing and I'm just here. He can't push me. It's not gonna push me over, okay? And so that's what allows me to bring it around me as I'm entering. When you don't have that, you're going to push it off of your foot. You see, you're trying to push it ahead of you. And then you're gonna try to bring it around. That's not the same, okay? Well, on one foot, it's already going around me. You get do energy going back that way. So he's pushing this way, okay? On one foot, it's already going around. You see? So how's my center line, my yang line, so my Zhangding line, my yang line, and my qua, they all moving as one unit. They're not going to disconnect. They all move one unit. One unit. My hands. All different circles there, okay? Try harder. Okay, let's look at the X pattern part, okay? So the displacement of his center of gravity within the sagittal plane. So it's not that I'm here
and it's just traveling around me. The rotation doesn't start until I have actually displaced it. That's where the rotation starts. So we'll put his foot on this X, and you close up on the X. There's an X on his foot, okay? And as I move, I will do the rotation, but it doesn't happen here on the shoulder like a ura. There's an omote, there's an idimi to it, okay? So as I'm coming in, you'll see that his foot gets moved before I do the rotation. One more time. You can come closer, Margaret, so you can see what I'm doing, okay? I'm not going to go here and he goes this way. I'm not doing that. You're going to take that foot off of that X. Then it goes around. So if you watch his bottom foot, it's constantly being pushed out, but with the circle, not pushing it out with the line. And push it out with the circle.